Here are some facts that are absolutely going to blow you away. In the news recently, David Keith and this gentleman here at the university in the States announced that geoengineering is going to go live. First sun dimming experiment will test a way to cool the earth, and it involves doing this: spraying. Now, solar dimming they're going to call it, blocking sunlight from coming in. But think about this. Here's something you never hear mentioned. These jets produce CO2 in a massive way. For example, a 747 flying for less than 7 hours produces 220 tons of CO2 in 7 hours. That will run a car for nearly a year, a 13-watt light bulb for 2,000 years, a house, you can run your house for nearly 17 years, okay? But the idiotic thing is that CO2 put at 30 to 40,000 feet stays up there for nearly 1,000 years. 1,000 years. Now, CO2 doesn't warm the planet, but according to their maths, let's work this out. So we're going to use a jet that's going to do this and block the sun out for 2 days to cool the planet for between 1 to 3 days maximum. 1 to 3 days. But the CO2 stays up there, 220 tons of it in 7 hours for 1,000 years, that warms the planet up, according to them. How mad can that be? And this gentleman who's on that picture, I was in Berlin. He gave a talk on carbon sequestration, which is what them plants are about, them big turbines. It takes 10 times the energy as it took to put the CO2 in there in the first place. What energy are they going to use that takes 10 times as much to take 1 ton of CO2 out as it took to put it there? Nothing stacks up, and that's why we know it's one big fake plan. And this is the equipment I'm going to show you that they use. Geoengineering our climate. It's all there officially. The papers are out. You couldn't invent this stuff. And this is the equipment that they're going to use. David Keith is involved with it with Bill Gates. There you go. The equipment's there in place. The planet needs CO2. It's a life force, energy, food for all life on the planet. Plants, everything that needs CO2. It's only at 400 parts per billion, sorry. And it used to be at 30,000 odd parts a million when the planet flourished. Massive trees, plants, vegetation and dinosaurs. Now they're killing the planet. Unbelievable. So think about those facts. 220 tons of CO2 in 7 hours that stays there for 1,000 years. It slowly disintegrates over 1,000 years. The last parts of it will be there 1,000 years after it was deployed at 30 to 40,000 feet. And yet they're going to cool the planet, because they say global warming's taking place. It's going to cool the planet for 1 to 3 days. It just does not stack up. So, what can you do about it? This and other subjects. If you sign a letter of intention to prosecute and 100,000 people also send a letter to people like David Keith, signed, dated, recorded delivery and tracked, there is no way of getting out of it, because when the facts are dropped on their table and thousands of people say the scam is up, folks, one day you're going to end up in court, a people's court, that will make a massive difference. That is one of the ways of taking action, because now it's going live. Every chemtrail activist on the planet, if you sit back and don't do anything, you're too late. Think about that.